character that if we were to bring in a lot of residents, they would, because they need to, push out a lot of the other types of businesses and the Instagram moment. Because why would you have an Instagram moment if basically you don't want the cafe atmosphere, you don't want the commercial activities, you don't want people coming from all over the world to go to your beach? Those are the reasons that we have an Instagram moment. So I believe that master planning, when we did it early on, when we created the CRA, this was the murder capital of the world. And the most important thing that could happen is to build a new hotel, which I was very proud to be a part of in the construction of the Lowe's. But we don't need to build a new hotel in the Art Deco district. And there are other places where we could have massive amounts of new housing. And I don't believe we should be doing. So, bottom line, I think we shouldn't rush to solve a problem that will take time. I think we need to do a proper plan. And frankly, with all the work that we did with Jonathan as the chairman on the master plan we just finished, it never really saw the light of day. The commission approved it unanimously, but nothing was ever done. I think we should have conversations because all that work has already been finished. And what better place to start than something that's already been thought through?
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Just to follow up on that, on the comment a little bit, to be direct, there was a lot of people in the community that felt that encroaching on Loomis Park to add, for noble reason, which was to expand the cafe space to the center line of the road and to provide for, what else was on the section for
Anderson Motorcycle.
Okay. One of the great opportunities of what I do is I get to be an artist occasionally. And the thinking in the master plan that maybe got the wrong reception was an idea that the front face of the Ocean Drive hotels should not be a narrow sidewalk, a roadway, a park, half a park that's not a park because it's unusable, a dune, and then a beach. The thinking was the park should start at the dune, and the park should go all the way to the front of the hotel buildings. Now, the problem is there's a big fight going on. Some people live on Ocean Drive and want it to be a residential community. Other people feel like Ocean Drive is the most important street in our county and that the world wants to see it. And nobody's going to come there if it eventually becomes a residential community. It is, in fact, the engine for what has been driving Miami Beach for years and years. Everybody in the world knows about the Art Deco district. They come from everywhere to see it. So my thinking was, why don't we take the friction out of the problem? If we want the hotel to have a cafe district, let them have 20 feet, 30 feet. Why couldn't the sidewalk be 40 feet wide? And I was thinking, well, if I'm a visitor to the hotel, I still want to be dropped off. If somebody's having a heart attack, I still need a fire engine or an emergency vehicle. So why don't we take a narrow strip, push it out? Because in my mind, the whole thing is the park. It doesn't start at Loomis, it starts at the building. So let me publicly say, if the irritation that is in the way of this idea is simply that I drew a line through Loomis Park, we can accomplish a whole lot by staying within the right way and still expanding the sidewalk and making it a better place. But the point is, in my mind, there should be very little to no traffic on Ocean Drive. but you need to have access. It's just important. People need to be able to come to a hotel and in the spirit of the 1930s, be dropped off in style and come into a restaurant and have somebody take their car away. But it should not be a cruising place. It should be very, very limited. And we need 20 feet clear for a fire truck in case something terrible happens. So I'm only proposing 20 feet, but I'm not proposing that it be opened up. And I'm also not proposing that there should be no cars, because I think that's a burden also. So I think it's a design problem. We solved it in our master plan according to my thinking. If we need to bring the road back in closer to the buildings, if people are somehow offended that we can't deal with it, that's fine. But I want to draw your attention to one last thing. We did a study, and the green area of Loomis Park is 15 acres. But the area between the street and the dune is 30 acres. There's no reason we can't double the size of Loomis Park, create more classy, environmental, beautiful activities. And in my view, when we get to the conversation, what I think we need is Miami Beach has been coasting for too long on its reputation. It's time for a transformative moment. We got to rethink how we present ourselves, and the place that we can do that is in the parks and the infrastructure and the streets. If we make the design change, behavior will change.
Okay, thank you for that summary, and I think your voice lasted well, which is better than I expected. So I'm going to go down the table here. So Jonathan, if you could weigh in on this subject of pedestrianization. I know you were recently in Hungary and visiting town squares in Europe and took some lessons from that. Share with us a little bit about that and how you see that being played out on Ocean Drive in some aspects, but in other parts of the district as well.
Sure. Let me begin by saying that I was with my wife in the March of the Living, the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the concentration camps. So I was in Warsaw, which was a city decimated by World War II, and Budapest, which was a city